On today's primetime local news, City Council discusses how to go forward with the downtown area redevelopment plan.
What it really needs is the buy-in of the businesses. What it needs is the buy-in of the community and our city as well.
SPCA in Wainwright closed in 2013. Now a local charity hopes to fill in the gap.
Their SPCA closed down a few years ago, and the cat population just went crazy.
And the Lakeland College men's team get ready to take on the national sitting volleyball team.
It's really hard. You got to use your arms, so your arms get tired quite quickly. And then just trying to figure out where to be on the court.
Plus, Lakeland College CEO thrilled with being named top employer.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
After meeting with business owners and the public, the downtown area redevelopment plan is being put before council, and Eric Bay has more on some of the suggestions in the plan.
City Council is currently reviewing a plan put forward by O2 Planning and Design Inc. that would follow changes other cities have made to their downtown cores.
You look at places like Detroit and Toronto and even Edmonton with the Ice District. If you don't incorporate and have a rebirth in your downtown, there is challenges, and certainly it can be done. I'd rather do it sooner than later, and I use Detroit as an example. Much larger city, but certainly it went through a very dark time, and certainly we don't want to go through that.
The plan would incorporate residential building with the existing retail spaces to bring people downtown.
People want different amenities, people want different businesses to be able to go to, and any new downtowns or any downtowns that are being revitalized across Alberta and across Saskatchewan, across the entire country, they have residents that live down there.
Council wants to see downtown as a place for people to gather, with more parks and activities for people to enjoy, and encourage residents to become involved in the transition.
Whether this document is in place or not, what it really needs is the buy-in of the businesses. What it needs is the buy-in of the community and our city as well, to really have the entire plan come to fruition. That's going to be a staged process.
O2's plan would widen 50th Street, putting parking on one side while widening the sidewalk on the other for patios for people to enjoy in the summer. The library would also be a main focus to make it a gathering place downtown. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
It was recently announced that Lakeland College is once again one of Alberta's top 75 employers. This is the fourth consecutive year that Lakeland College has received this accolade. Our Jasmine King has more.
Lakeland College has been recognized for the past 4 years and is the only post-secondary to be named to the top 75 employers. This recognition means a lot to President and CEO of Lakeland College, Dr. Alice Wainwright Stewart.
For me, it's even more of an honor to know that our workplace is moving towards that inclusive, family-cultivated environment that's so important. And really what topped it out for me this morning is I received an email from an employee who just told me how grateful she was and said she just wanted to thank me this morning for some of the benefits that we're talking about.
Other factors that went into Lakeland being selected include offering a family-friendly culture throughout the school and the amount of campus amenities offered.
It's all about a holistic approach to ensuring that not only our employees here at Lakeland feel that environment where it's all inclusive in there, they get that opportunity, but it's also about the students feeling that as well.
Lakeland College has around 600 employees, and seeing them come into work every day and the friendly environment at Lakeland College is something Dr. Wainwright Stewart is glad she's a part of.
When I think of some of the experience that I've had, probably one of the experiences that has kind of stayed with me is when an employee was in a situation where he lost his partner, and his comment was to the doctor who said, "Who can I call?" He said, "Just call anybody at the college, they'll come and help me." So that family atmosphere is really important.
Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
Wainwright has been struggling with overpopulation of cats since the SPCA closed down in 2013. Now a local organization has stepped up to try and help with the problem. The Lloydminster-based Fur Babies Forever Homes teamed up to create an organization in Wainwright called Purr Babies to help deal with stray cats in the town.
Their SPCA closed down a few years ago, and the cat population just went crazy. So the gal who runs the pound there got a hold of us and asked if any way we could help out. So we started this satellite under Purr Babies, and we've helped over 100 cats since October of 2018. So it's working, and then it doesn't put so much on our local SPCA, who ultimately was trying to help them as well.
Both Purr Babies and Fur Babies receive no government funding and are always in need of donations as well as volunteers. You can find more information on their website, furbabiesforeverhomes.com, or their Facebook pages. Fur Babies is also having an adoption event over the weekend.
So we have dogs and puppies on Saturday and cats and kitties on Sunday. So that Pet Planet right in Lloydminster. So if everybody wants to come on down and get some cuddles, that would be awesome.
Well, it's currently -1 here in Lloydminster, and the clouds are starting to roll in and it should clear up by overnight tonight. Winds coming in from the west-southwest, making at 23 kilometers per hour, making it feel closer to -7. And then later tonight with that wind chill, it'll feel closer to -12. Across Alberta, +3 out in Jasper and Cold Lake, 4 in Athabasca and Whitecourt, 2 in Edmonton, -2 in Red Deer, and 7 in Edson and in Rocky Mountain House. And on the Saskatchewan side, +1 in Meadow Lake, -3 in Prince Albert and Melfort, and -4 in Saskatoon and in North Battleford. And then overnight in North Battleford, they will remain fairly clear with the temperature dropping to -11, and that wind will be coming out of the west-southwest at 9 kilometers per hour and pick up to 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-northwest tomorrow, with a daytime high of 0 and a fairly cloudy day. And there's also periods of light snowfall in the morning, dying off by the afternoon. And then in Cold Lake overnight, there will remain the same amount of cloudiness as they're sitting right now. Temperature dropping to -6, and that wind will be at 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-southwest and pick up to 17 kilometers per hour tomorrow coming in from the west-northwest, with a daytime high of +2, a mix of sun and cloud, and there's about a 60% chance of some snowfall. Here in Lloydminster overnight, it'll start to clear off just a little bit with the temperature dropping to -6, and that wind will be coming in from the west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour and picking up to 17 kilometers per hour coming in from the west-northwest tomorrow, with a daytime high of 0 and a mix of sun and cloud. And then there's periods of light snowfall predicted to fall tomorrow morning, dying off by the afternoon, and about 2 centimeters to fall. With that wind chill, it'll feel closer to -17 with a low of -6 and a mix of sun and cloud. And then on Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -4, which will feel closer to -15 and a low of -11. And then back on Monday, a fairly cloudy day with a high of -6, which will feel closer to -17 with that wind chill and a low of -12. That is a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break. Welcome back. Well, the president of the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities is lobbying the federal government in advance of the budget. Ray Orb says the association would like to see changes to agri-stability to address increased uncertainty driven by trade disputes and transportation issues. Orb says they also want carbon tax exemptions for fuel used to dry grain. He says that they'll also use the opportunity to comment on how rail blockades are affecting grain exports. The Ag Transport Coalition says early this week there were 40 ships waiting at Vancouver to load grain and 10 more at Prince Rupert. And now we're going to take a look at your egg prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
This Saturday, the Lakeland College men's volleyball team will be taking to the court, but in a different way than normal. The national sitting volleyball team is in town and is showing the wrestlers how it's done.
Learning from the 16th internationally ranked Canadian team has taught the boys about more than just sitting volleyball.
Obviously, playing the sport of volleyball in a completely different way is only going to make you better. And so giving these guys a chance to try it out and see how it feels and what it's like, I think is important.
The game, which will happen on Saturday, has been in the works for quite some time now.
So me and Jeff have been talking over the last couple of years. Actually, we've been wanting to try and set something up, but just with our schedules with our team and with them doing some international play and whatnot, so it's tough to find a good weekend to do it. So this one worked out as we had a bye weekend. There's a SAS Cup in town with over 30 teams going to be competing, so we thought it'd be good to showcase their game, have all these athletes coming and watching.
As far as I know, this is just it for now. We've done a bunch of them in the past. We've gone up to Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, done a bunch. It's always fun to do.
For the Canadian team, this fun matchup preps them for the Tokyo 2020 Men's Paralympic Qualification Tournament.
It's a last chance qualifier for the Paralympics. Top team goes, so it's gonna be a dogfight. I think a lot of the teams are tightly bunched, but there's I think 4 teams in the top 10 right now. So there's USA, Germany, Ukraine, Kazakhstan. So it'll be tightly contested. It should be a really good quality tournament.
For the Lakeland boys, the experience gives them team bonding and a fun new activity.
First and foremost, about doing something as a team together. I think doing something for the community as well, I think is important. So.
Oh yeah, it's heaps of fun. Yeah, never done it before, so it's something new and just really good fun out there. It's really hard. You got to use your arms, so your arms get tired quite quickly, and then just trying to figure out where to be on the court and all that kind of stuff. It's just different reading the game.
The game will be hosted at ES Laird at 7 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets are $5 per person. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
It's no secret that the Houston Astros cheated. Players, athletes from other sports, and local baseball players continue to share their opinions on what may be the biggest player-run scandal in baseball history. Our Montana Getty has an MLB update.
The situation sucks.
Punishment was weak, giving him immunity.
What a disgrace that was. Just watching their apology yesterday too,
they cheating in 17 and 18. It affected a lot of games, no matter what anybody says.
The Astros may have thought that they were cheating just to win, but they cheated careers, endorsements, fans, the organization, and other teams' chances at winning titles. The impact their actions are having are astronomical.
It affected, like I said earlier, the fans of the game, and even other guys, the guys that lost their jobs because of it.
Everyone knows they stole the ring from us.
I think the not only the fans want the game to be fair. I know you guys want it to be fair.
Interim manager of the Border City Blue Jays, Ruben Baker, mentions his take on the Astros' dishonesty.
For sure, sign stealing's been part of the game since its inception, and a key part of good teams is basically picking up on opportunities that you have. But what Houston did was well beyond what the game has called for.
Not only did Houston cheat, but they're practically getting away with it. With minimal to no punishments being handed out to players, people around the sports world are mentioning what they believe would be fair punishment.
Players got immunity. They got away with it.
Definitely the players responsible should have received a punishment of some kind. I definitely would like to see some fineage. Like all the players received bonus for winning the World Series. That should be stripped. That kind of stuff. Some monetary punishment should be handed in for sure.
Wasn't a fan of the punishment. I thought that was a little weak for a player-driven scheme. That no players involved got any punishments.
I can't go back. I can't reverse my decision. Like I said, I wish I had said more and I didn't, and for that I'm sorry.
That's your MLB update. Montana Getty, Primetime Local Sports.
And now we'll go back to our Abby St. John with a look at the weekend weather.
Thanks, Evan. Taking a look at our satellite radar, a lot of clouds are starting to roll in. We're sitting a little bit cloudy, and then it's going to clear off more into overnight tonight. No real signs of snow until tomorrow morning. We're predicted to get about 2 centimeters of snow here, and then there's a 60% chance of snowfall in Cold Lake during the morning, hopefully dying off and ending by the afternoon. And then on the Saskatchewan side, just a little bit of cloud coverage rolling in. Down in North Battleford, they're expected to see some periods of snowfall tomorrow morning as well. Current temperature is -1 here in Lloydminster, as well as in Isla Cross, +1 in Pierceland and in Meadow Lake, 0 in Green Lake, St. Walburg and Maidstone, +2 in Macklin, and -4 in North Battleford. And on the Saskatchewan side, 0 in Provost and Vegreville, -1 in Vermilion, +1 in St. Paul and Bonnyville, +2 in Marwayne, -1 in Marwayne rather, +2 out in Edmonton, +3 in Cold Lake, and -3 in Lac La Biche. And tomorrow we have a daytime high of 0 here in Lloydminster, as well as out in Wainwright, 1 in Provost, Vermilion, Vegreville, St. Paul and Marwayne, 2 in Edmonton, Lac La Biche, Bonnyville and Cold Lake. And on the Saskatchewan side, 3 up in Isla Cross, 2 in Green Lake, Pierceland and Meadow Lake, 1 in St. Walburg, Maidstone and Macklin, and 0 out in North Battleford. And overnight across the region, heavier cloud coverage in Isla Cross, Bonnyville, Provost and Wainwright, and then mostly clear skies in Meadow Lake, Pierceland, Unity and Murnum. -5 in Meadow Lake and Pierceland, -4 in Isla Cross and Bonnyville, -7 in Paradise Hill and Murnum, -11 in Unity, -9 in Provost, and -8 out in Wainwright. And then nationally across Canada, +8 out in Vancouver, where they have fairly cloudy skies, +1 up in Whitehorse with a mix of sun and cloud, -12 in Yellowknife with their partially cloudy skies, -2 in Regina with just a little bit of cloud coverage, -1 in Winnipeg where they're sitting fairly cloudy, -3 in Toronto with clear skies, -10 in Halifax also with that clear skies, -11 in St. John's and in Quebec City. And then over the next 7 days for tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 0 and a low of -6. On Sunday, a high of -4 and a low of -11 with a mix of sun and cloud. And then back on Monday, a fairly cloudy day with a high of -6 and a low of -12. On Tuesday, a high of -9 and a low of -15. On Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -4 and a low of -14. +2 on Thursday with partially cloudy skies and a low of -9. And then on Friday, a high of 1 with a mix of sun and cloud and a low of -7. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news in the question of the day coming up after the break.
Well, now it's time for question of the day, and the question of the day, it got started because of a teacher who is currently trending on Twitter, and that is, do you have a teacher that made a difference in your life? And Abby, we got quite the response today.
We got a couple of comments, just reading them. One says, I can say I had a few teachers that made a huge difference in my life, and I consider myself very lucky for having them. And then another one, which was super interesting, my junior high principal taught me that ignorance wasn't solely reserved for the young, and that standing up to those in positions of authority was necessary. And I think that's awesome coming from someone who is in that authoritative position as principal. I think that makes it seem like he genuinely cares about his students.
For sure. I guess especially being at that sort of top of the food chain and influencing your students to sort of be everything they can really be. Abby, is there any teachers or principals, I guess, for that matter, that have really impacted you and influenced your life?
A lot of my high school teachers, I don't think I could say that I had one that I didn't like. I think my English teacher, I had her grade 10, 11, and 12, and I didn't really like her at first. I tried to switch out of her class in grade 11, but then I really found that she is so passionate about English, and she made me actually enjoy English a lot more than I did in the past, and just someone that I will always remember as someone who genuinely, little bit hard, but genuinely cares about her students and what she teaches them.
Well, and I guess having that 3 years to sort of bond and connect with each other really just made that much more tighter, right?
Exactly. And now everyone's favorite, my favorite, we're now going to throw into your pet pictures. Thank you so much for submitting all throughout this week. We'll be giving away the Pet Pad gift card at the end of this hour, so stay tuned.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
We are on Skype with Miranda Oh, author of Chin Up, Tits Out series. Miranda, welcome.
Well, I am so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
That is awesome. I read your book, lovely book, easy to read. I love the way you wrote it. It's amazing, and I think it lets the author kind of follow your character throughout the whole book. Tell us a little bit about this book.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a fiction novel. You follow a young woman who kind of has her life seemingly mapped out. She knows what she wants, right? And then falls in love with a young man with an accent, and all kind of goes out the window, all of her plans, but she's so dead set on, making this relationship happen. So there's a lot of immigration stuff and long distance relationship struggles and challenges. And I wrote the book in a sense of how do I evoke emotion? I went through these types of events my own self, so like, why not write about it? And I wanted to connect with people because my inner voice was consistently going and battling me back and forth. And I learned that if I embrace it versus challenge it, that life is a little bit funner and more enjoyable because life is really tough. So why not try to find silver linings and ways to enjoy it?
And I love that. I love your motto in terms of how to live life and overcome fears and that kind of stuff. And I think the book tells it all in terms of overcoming those fears. And I think you nailed it in this book. And it really touches a person who's reading it. Really, when I was reading it, I felt like I was that person because it's her inner thoughts. I can feel them and I can read them. And so well done on that. And so obviously that was the motto and that was the reasoning of the book. But what really inspired the book? Obviously you talked about your life and how you wanted to kind of, show that aspect of it.
Oh, well, okay. So real life experience really drew me to like, girl, you have a story. Because when people are like, hey, so what are you up to these days? And, what's new? And then I start to well, I'm dating somebody from the other side of the world and I'm having arguments with immigration officers or, they're like, there's racism from a whole new level that I had absolutely no idea existed, like naive me. And then that was just the tip of the iceberg. And that's just the first book that you have. So it is a trilogy. And the second book goes into other, I guess, journeys and experiences that our main character Hadley goes through in her 20s. And it really opens up to a lot of raw topics, a lot of tough topics, and but talked about in this positive mindset of, no matter what and how dark, you can always find a silver lining, and you can always choose to be kind to yourself and to be kind to the ones around you, and that makes life a little bit better.
Definitely, and I think as an author, you live in Manitoba, you have all these creative things that you're thinking about and to write about, but I also like the way you wrote the book in terms of little paragraphs, like that's palatable, it's easy to read, and I think it's a new trend, in a way. A lot of people are starting to really enjoy writing it this way.
Yeah, you know what? It kind of came out accidentally. Like this inner voice that I have inside of me is not inner, it's an outer voice. People that work close within me, they hear it all the time because she comes out and they're like, oh, that was the inside voice. Oh my gosh. So you learn to embrace it. But the short stints is just, it was easier for me to write and to digest as a human when I'm reading through tough stuff. You read a little bit and it's heavy, and every breath in and every breath out is intense, and you have like the words are just gripping you, and then you're like, oh, And then it's like, no, that inner voice with sass is coming out with a little twisted, dark sense of humor. And then you're like, oh, whew, I can breathe again. And so I like that because it just makes it so much more of an event when you read. I always suggest to have a beverage in hand or within reach and to just get yourself cozy and to read the books because they're one of the ones that you just don't want to put the page down.
Oh, for
until you're
sure,
done.
for sure. Before we go, I kind of want to know a little bit about you. Obviously, were you born in Manitoba, Winnipeg, and it was, what was that like? Were you always a writer?
Always a storyteller, I can tell you that. Writer, I think I always wrote, like I always had journals, but born and raised in Winnipeg, happy little family of mom and a dad and a brother, always had dogs in my life. It's the prairies, so it's flat, it's very sunny, it's very cold in the wintertime, but very beautiful and warm in the summertime. And I'm a huge advocate for Winnipeg. I absolutely love living here. I love the people. I live right downtown. I'm also an Airbnb host, so this space that you see I share with people and travelers from around the world, and I absolutely love that because you never know the opportunities that can come from there.
That is awesome. I know we're running out of time, but where can people grab your book?
Easy peasy. You can find it on Amazon worldwide, or you can look on my website at Miranda Oh, that's OH.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for talking to us and telling us all about your book and a little bit about your life story. I want to talk to you more in the future, of course, but thanks a lot, Miranda, for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very appreciative.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Saturday night, Heather Rankin is coming to the Vic Juba Community Theatre. She first shot to fame alongside her siblings as a member of the Rankins, but more recently, she's launched a very successful solo career, and she is coming to Lloydminster, one of the first stops on her Western Canada tour. She's looking forward to it. We're looking forward to having her here in the city, and she does a great version of Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and there's another song called Titanically, and she based this song on the Titanic bandmaster's violin. And that's kind of what this song is about. A lot of people giving rave reviews of her solo music, and you've got a chance to see her Saturday night at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. You can stop by the box office to get your tickets or go online, vicjubatheatre.ca. A lot of students get a break from school this week. It's reading week, and if you need a break from making breakfast, head to the Legacy Center on Sunday morning. They're hosting a pancake breakfast, and they'll start serving up at 9 o'clock. Everybody is welcome to join them. Then Sunday afternoon at the Legacy Center, it's their next jamboree and dance. Things will get underway at 1:30. All musicians are welcome to play, and if you want more details, you can always stop by the Legacy office. Coming up on Sunday morning, the Lloydminster Cross Country Ski Club is hosting their poker rally. You can head out to the trails that are just east of Lloydminster on the 303. Watch for all the signs and pick your course. Maybe you'll take the 3 kilometers, maybe you'll take the 5 kilometers, or maybe you'll get a ghost hand for $5 for a chance to win the grand prize. There will be lunch provided when you take part in the poker rally. Registration begins at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Clegus, and that's what's happening.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm pleased to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Heather Rankin. Heather, you're out on the East Coast right now, and you've been busy. You are coming to Lloydminster, but let's talk about what you've been doing recently. It looks like you had a busy month in January.
Holy smokes, I've just been going nonstop. I came out at Christmas thinking I was going to have some time, but then I launched directly into making a record. So I've been doing that, making it in Ireland. I haven't really started the recording process yet, but I'm in like pre-production stage, and I'm working with a gentleman by the name of Donald Lunny. And I went over there because I'm looking, I'm wanting to make a traditional record. And before that, I was at Celtic Connections, which is a big international Celtic festival in Glasgow. And that was, a blast from the past, because the last time I've been there would have been with my family 20 plus years ago. So And yeah, and I'm flying out to the West tomorrow. So my sweep patterns are all over the place. I just catch these when I can.
So do you have any idea, Heather, as to when the new record may be released? Or is it going to be quite a long process yet?
Well, I suspect if I can get it out this year, it would be later in the year. But if not, I don't want to push it. It's just a self-imposed deadline. I would make it probably release it early in 2021, but hoping for the end of this year.
So when you come out to your shows here out West, and we are looking forward to seeing you here Saturday in Lloydminster, Heather, will we get to hear some of the new material, a sneak peek, or are you going to wait until that record is absolutely finished?
Well, I'm really just in the process of arranging the material.
Okay.
So you'll have to wait for that, but you will hear some music, some new music, as well as some Rankin songs and some tunes off of my first recording. It's a real hodgepodge of material that we present in our performance. We mix it up with some stories and hopefully fill you with a few laughs and send you home with a good spirit.
So why did you decide to tour now, Heather, in the midst of everything you have going on? Is it just something that you feel like you need to do and get out and entertain the audiences?
These dates have been in the works for a while. The record is something that just sort of came about because I was preparing to do a traditional record, but it always depends on when the people you're working with are available. So as soon as I reached out, it was almost an immediate visit that I had to make to sort of hammer out the details and start working on the material.
Now, when you come out, how many dates do you have this time, Heather, that you're on tour for?
It's just a couple of dates in the West, Lloydminster and Fort Saskatchewan. Yeah, we've done a showcase in Fort Sask a couple of years back, and that's where a lot of venue buyers come and see what you're presenting, and I think these dates came out of that show.
So when you come out to the West and particularly Lloydminster, we have a lot of people from the East Coast who have moved out here permanently to work. And I know Jimmy was out here a while back and had a great show, and they just love your music. Are you always kind of surprised at the wide range of the reception at some of these smaller shows?
Well, yeah, I am in particular because I've just been doing this solo work for a short period of time. I only released my first solo record 2016, so I'm always pleasantly surprised that anybody comes because it's it's a new thing for me. But I'm always encouraged by how many Rankin family fans turn out. It's it's quite a legacy that the family music has left, and it's always nice to catch up with people who were fans of the family, and so I'm very lucky to have that fan base there already, and they continue to support what I'm doing as a solo artist. That's really nice.
Well, Heather, we thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I know you're busy. You have so much on the go. Good luck with that new record. And again, we look forward to seeing you at the show here at the Vic Juba Theatre in Lloydminster on Saturday.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to it. So come on out and hang out with us. I'm sure you will not be disappointed.
All right. Thank you so much, Heather.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day.
Well, now it is time to take a look at our Pet of the Week winner here.
Yes, we got so many submissions that, again, it's so hard to choose, but everyone is so willing to win. Tokyo, you are our lucky winner. Congratulations. Robert, I will be in contact with you on Monday to give you information on when and where you can pick up your PetPad gift card. And thank you to everyone who continues to submit their pictures. I adore seeing all of your pets. I do love animals, and I think everyone's pets are just so adorable, so it's always so hard to choose, but I love doing it, so it's always a fun time.
For sure, and especially, when a cute dog like that wins, yes. It's always a joy for Friday afternoon, Friday
exactly.
night.
And I always love seeing like the ducks and the horses and the guinea pigs and all the other types of pets as well. But that is it for news today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be again on Monday.